This year, it has changed everything. Everything that was familiar and comfortable to me has turned into something new, uncomfortable, and uncertain. I've stepped so far out of my comfort zone that I feel like I'm in another dimension. I've been sent off to an adventure that I never could have imagined for myself. I've climbed over every barrier that I thought I had. And I'm still going on. There has been quite a simple task that we have procrastinated on for way too long. Putting a tarp on the ripped roof. With my fear of heights, no solid spot to attach the safety rope on the roof, and a day windy as hell, it turned out to be a 2-hour job for the two of us. I simply couldn't handle the tarp alone in the wind, so by the time my husband climbed to the roof with me, the camera had run out of battery. It looks like a stamp. It's much bigger. It's like 4 meters long and about 1.5 meter wide. We were supposed to do this last year's autumn, but we didn't. But now it's done. Jumalauta, että meni ytimiin tuo tuuli. Mikä toi oli?
Tässä huulit mulle.
No, että jotain lensi tuolta katolta meidän auton päälle. Kippis meidän korjatulle katolle.
Kippis. Yes!
Ai! Kahvikin on jäähtynyt. Upcoming winter puts a lot of tasks on a standstill. But hauling stuff from point A to point B doesn't seem to be one of them. Last winter I spotted this old kitchen online that was to be given away for free if only someone would come and demolish it. I fell in love with the shaker-style hardwood doors and thought it would become a nice kitchen after a little TLC. So last winter my husband was kind enough to go and collect it after taking it apart in an old apartment. This is now his 3rd time moving it around from one spot to another. But hopefully this will be its last resting spot until we install it in our own kitchen. It's definitely not sparkly and new, but that's just how I prefer things. We're living the darkest time of the year again, when the daylight lasts for about 5 hours here. As cozy as it is to me, it makes the work on the house and on the yard a bit tiring.
We are the gallows up on the hill. Answer the question.
But as the ground started to freeze, we needed to do the most urgent jobs around the yard before it is all covered in snow.
Where the rebel died. We are the monsters.
That meant cleaning the yard from all that was left of the other end of our rotten house that was repaired this autumn. We gave away most of the wood and old logs to our neighbor to use for the heating season. But we kept some logs that were in an okay condition, so we could use them in some other project.
We are the monsters. An army of one. We are the monsters. A hole in the sun. To the beginning. We are the end. Hold on to nothing. There's nothing with
Some of the old logs are in too bad shape for a house, but I feel like they're in too good shape just to burn away. So I'm trying to come up with some ideas to make some use of them. In the hopes of these freezing solid soon, you're now watching a new work table for drilling, sawing and measuring stuff. Hello, I'm going to a house or apartment showing. We have been searching for a cheaper apartment, like closer to our plot, to make like the drive a bit shorter. Now it's 45 minutes about one way, so it's both expensive and time consuming to do that like all the time. So we already found a perfect apartment. It's empty right now. It was cheap, it was perfect location, like 7 minutes from our plot, which is incredible because there's no like rental apartments. There's only like standalone houses and farms. But the owner said that they're looking for someone to be able to rent it for a longer period. And I was trying to say that, like, kindly say that no one can make such promises. Sadly, they are looking for something else, and I cannot force it. It's like nothing good comes out of forcing things. So now I'm going to look for a kind of, I don't know if it's a word, a row house apartment. It's 17 minutes drive to our plot, so it's not as close as the better apartment, but it's not as far as this where we live now. So let's see if it seems to be okay. I think we're just gonna go for it if they accept us, because it's hard to find apartment that's both cheap and close to the area where we need it. So this is our best shot. So let's see. I went to see the apartment, and unlike the other apartment, they were just like, yeah, everything's fine, let's make a deal, and so on. It was very easy. I have lived around here in the same town for 17 years. So I first moved here when I came to study, and here I have happily lived ever after until now. So it feels a bit scary to change your location. But the apartment was nice, and that's what we have to do because we don't have the money to drive around and rent this place, and yeah, it's too expensive. Everything is so expensive now, so we have to just cut down on everything. So yeah, we're gonna move. Yeah, we haven't been at the house that much, and we've had kind of a busy season with everything else on our lives with work, and we had the COVID finally for the first time, and that took a while for me to recover from. We have lived in this apartment for a bit over 2 years. We moved here after we sold our last apartment that we lived in for 11 years. So we haven't been moving a lot in the last couple of decades. But yeah, we always knew that this was a pit stop for us, because we were, when we sold our apartment, we started to look for an old house to buy. But obviously that didn't happen so easily. You know, you can plan for your life, make all the plans that you possibly can, and you will never go like that. Like, I have learned the hard way. I never thought that we'd be in this situation, but here we are, so we just have to work with what we have. Sometimes it's hard to imagine that this is a regular home and not a record shop. Almost packed everything. It's our last evening here, and yeah, let's go. After almost 2 decades of living in and around the same city that I so eagerly wanted to move into when I was just a teenager, it was time to say goodbye to that era and take one step closer to our dream living in the countryside. I was so scared that the last-minute choice for our new temporary apartment was done too hastily, without any idea of the village or the area surrounding the apartment. And I thought that I would miss the city. But how could I, when I now have this on my doorstep?